It's good to be back. Welcome back, ladies and gents, to yet another video. My name is Iman, also known as the Persian Stick, and today we're gonna go ahead and do one thing in particular. You guys read the title and thumbnail. We're practically installing the lowering springs on my V12 Vantage S. So without further ado, let's get a cold start. We got the lowering springs right here. You can see we're gonna be adjusting this wheel gap right here. It's pretty, yeah, it's pretty massive. You could see how bad the wheel gap is. So I cannot wait until we fix it. I'm not gonna bore you guys with the drive, but we're just practically gonna edit this so that way I am at Raging Bull Performance right now. So without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, ladies and gents, we made it to Raging Bull Performance. Go ahead and park up here. As you can see, they have plenty of exotics here. So these are the guys to go to if you ever need your exotic work done. But yeah, let's go ahead and start the install. The gap is actually insane. So we're gonna go ahead and change this entirely. Alright, so as you can see, we are bringing the car into the shop. Massive shout out to Raging Bull Performance for letting me film the whole entire install, because a lot of shops don't really let you film. So yeah, massive shout out to them. But you can see I'm super excited to go ahead and put this Velocity AP lowering springs onto the car itself. First thing is first, you just have to remove the tires front and rear, so that will expose the wishbone and also the suspension itself. As you can see, the beautiful carbon ceramic brakes that come standard on this car. Then there are two bolts that you do have to remove on the double wishbone suspension in the front. It's pretty easy to access once you have the tire off, and you just do the same thing also on the other side. Any car in particular, or even just doing suspension work on other cars, this is pretty straightforward. But again, being that it's a double wishbone suspension, there's a couple more things that are a bit more complicated to remove the suspension. You can see now we're removing the top part of the strut brace, and all it is just two screws that you just go ahead and undo. Then the suspension comes completely out, pretty straightforward. You can see this is the first part of the suspension, this is the second front suspension, and it's pretty straightforward to remove. Here is the car exposed without the suspension. Pretty cool, right? Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and unbox the Velocity AP lowering springs. You can see we got front and rear. As soon as we unpack these, you're gonna see how much beefier they are. You can see Frank just pointing at one is front and one is rear. Yeah, pretty cool that they labeled them so you don't get confused. But you can see these are progressive springs as well. They are made in super high quality stuff, so you can see we were inspecting it, just making sure that we got the right ones, and also where we know how to install.
What is supposed to do with performance with this part? Let's install.
With this, it doesn't really do too much upgrades entirely. It just practically makes the car lower, and then because of the material used on this, it is going to be a little bit better, being that, you know, the center of gravity is going to be lower, all this stuff. But it's nothing too crazy like coilovers, or like nothing like a major difference. All right, ladies and gents, so you can see here Frank at Raging Bull Performance has this contraption that actually compresses the spring, so that way we could take the top piece off. You can see in a twist motion, it will compress that spring, keep it locked so we can take the top part out without it exploding on us. Second thing is making sure that top nut is loosened up. You fish it through outside with the adaptive suspension wire, and then you remove that washer top out of the suspension, then the spring comes out entirely. You can see we're going to go ahead and do that on the other one as well. And this is the Velocity AP springs, and you can see how beefy they are and just how good of a product they are. Then it's rinse and repeat process, making sure it goes back on, put back on the top hat of the shock, the washer, and then the bolt that goes through the wire itself for the adaptive suspension, and then you tighten up that bolt entirely. Once that's done, you can go ahead and fish the front suspension back onto the car. You can see we did it on both sides, making sure all the holes line up. Then once everything is all aligned, you're gonna have to go ahead and make sure everything is screwed on from the top first. So you can see Frank is going to screw in the 3 bolts that put on the front shocks itself, making sure that wire goes through where the front strut brace also goes. Then the front strut brace goes on to complete the engine bay, and as you can see, that beautiful 6-liter V12. Once everything is complete on the top, we go ahead and raise the car a little bit so that way we can go ahead and put on the double wishbone suspension. There are 2 bolts, one on the top and another one on the bottom.
And what are you thinking?
Looking really good. I'm excited to see how low it is. This should be pretty freaking low.
Scared about scraping?
Yeah, but at least I got a little protection in the front splitter there. I might need more though. I might need more. All right, enough shenanigans. We're gonna go ahead and finish up the front part of the suspension install. You can see you just have to make sure the double wishbone suspension is aligned, and you can see I'm gonna go ahead and point to the top part where you do have to just tighten it back up. There's one on the top and one on the very bottom on either side. Then once you got that going, you are fully complete. You put back on the tire, and now it's time to start the rear end of the car. So now the rear end of the car itself, you can see there's about 6 bolts that hold the fender liner together, and then you do have to access 2 bolts on the underpan of the car. What you have to do to access those is remove the underpan, I would say, for the car itself, which is metal, as you can see, exposing the entire rear end of the car. That's how you access those 2 bolts to get out the fender liner. You can see here there are 2 bolts holding the shock on the very bottom A-arm, and then 2 on the very top A-arm, so that way you have to remove that to get the shock exposed. There are also 4 bolts that you do have to remove from the chassis of the car, and then you can see Frank removing those 2 top A-arm bolts, so that way we can get to the shock itself. Once you got that out of the way, then all you'd have to make sure is you finagle the shock away so that way you can get it out, and boom, there's one shock out for you. And then you just do the same process on the other side. Once that's done, you could remove the rear shock, and then boom, you got 2 rear shocks completely out. Now it's the fun part. We're using a marker to make sure we align the top hat of the shock itself, so that way we know how to come back to it once we install the lowering springs. But you could see, as soon as we're able to get that done, then you just remove the top bolts on the very top of the shock itself, and then that removes the hat that attaches to the chassis of the car itself. Then it's enough messing about. Now back to the contraption. You can see here as a close-up, that's how it compresses the spring so we can get the top hat of the shock off. With just 1 bolt, you make sure that you got that loose. Fish it through the wire that actually stiffens up the suspension itself. Same thing in the front. Remove that washer and then decompress the spring so you can go ahead and remove the hat of the shock itself and remove the spring entirely. You could see here how different the Velocity AP lowering springs is compared to the OEM springs. You can see it's quite a bit beefier and also shorter. That's what we want for that amazing stance as well. All right, now to the good stuff. We're gonna go ahead and put back the actual lowering springs onto the shock itself. Then it's the same process as we did to the front, making sure the top part aligns, putting on the bolt that goes through the wire for the adaptive suspension, and then we go ahead and tighten it. So now all we need to do is reinstall the rear suspension back up again. You have to make sure that top part of the shock itself goes back on with those 3 bolts, and also we marked it in the first place earlier so that way we can know which way goes where, so we're not too confused on how it goes. Once that's on, we could go ahead and put on the rear suspension itself entirely. You can see we're doing it on the other side as well, and we figured it was a bit easier to do it on the contraption that Frank has. Now all we have to do is make sure that we put on the plastic piece that doesn't pinch the wire itself. You can see Frank here is actually kind of detailing my calipers, so thank you very much, my man. That's a nice touch of you. And then we could go ahead and put back on the suspension. You can see those 4 holes need to align with the chassis of the car itself. Make sure that straight bolt goes through the A-arm, through the rear shock, so that way you can tighten it with the impact. Once that thing aligns, you could use the impact to then tighten it back up, as you can see. Then align those 4 holes that align the shock to the chassis of the car itself. Tighten it all the way down so there's no speculation that it is loose. And then put back on those 2 bolts that attach the A-arms together on the very top part as well. So you can see Frank here is doing one side of the bolt, then the second side as well. Same process as you can see in the rear. This bolt has to go through the A-arm, through the shock. You can see we're using the impact to go ahead and tighten that part. Then we align the A-arms on the chassis of the car itself, and remember there's 2 bolts on either side that you do have to slide through and tighten back up as well. You can see Frank here kind of finagling that through. Then use the impact to go ahead and tighten that back up. Same thing on the other side. Align the 4 holes, and this one was a little bit more difficult, so we had to use a little bit of convincing to make sure all 4 holes aligned. One thing which I thought was pretty hilarious was that he actually stabbed the hole so it aligns better with the chassis of the car itself. But once that's aligned, we go ahead and tighten everything back up just like so. Make sure on the other side everything is a-okay as well. Then for the very last part is going to be the fender liner. You can see it takes a little bit of convincing to make sure that that is all aligned, but once everything is all said and done, just go ahead and screw everything back up just like so. Same thing on the other side, under the car itself. Then we're able to put on the rear tires as well. Make sure that is all good. Also, lastly, not forgetting that it has to be torqued. Then very last thing is going to be putting back the under tray, as you can see on the car itself right near the exhaust, so the rear end is not exposed with its like 10 million bolts as you can see Frank having to screw that in with the impact. But it's practically all done from here. Now that everything is all done, let's go ahead and get my actual reaction. So we're dropping the car, as you can see. I don't want to show you guys just yet, but you're gonna see my first reaction. Wow. That's pretty low, damn. Boom, here it is. The fitment's absolutely insane. Jeez. Honestly, this is perfect. Wow. I'm super excited. Yeah, this thing, she sits pretty low now. All right, ladies and gents, you can see the stance is so much better. Thank you so much, ladies and gents, for tuning in to yet another video. I hope you enjoyed this format. I thought I'd do something a little bit different, being that I was going to do the upgrades for this car. Yes, indeed, I could have done it myself, but again, I don't have the proper tools and things at my house, and my brother already having his BMW jacked up. It'd be just too much work and too much of a hassle to then get that stuff done. But without further ado, I'll go ahead and sign off. Thank you so much for tuning in to yet another video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.